Okay, sorry for a little bit of late start, but I think we are all set here. Welcome everyone to today's webinar session. I'm Ashish Maharjan, the product manager for pressure product lines at Anderson-Negele, and today we are going to talk about different pressure transmitters in our portfolio and how we go about choosing which transmitter goes into what applications based on customers' need. These are just some of the examples of pressure applications that you would have come across. Separator applications, filter monitoring, pump protection using PLC or the motor starter, homogenizer monitoring, and in general all pressure line monitoring applications. These are the pressure transmitters in Anderson-Negele portfolio. We have L3 that was launched recently, feature pack, most advanced sensor, and all the way to HH, which is the most simple and basic pressure transmitter. We are going to talk about all these pressure transmitters in the slides to come, and the factor that helps us decide to go with which pressure transmitter based on the needs. To start with L3, L3 is your default and go-to transmitter for all pressure applications. We launched L3 in the beginning of 2017, and if you have used L3 in your projects and if you have attended some of our previous webinars, you would have seen L3 in the hydrostatic level applications as well, and that's because L3 is the first transmitter we developed that's designed for both pressure and level applications. So in pressure applications, again, L3 is the most feature-rich product and most advanced sensor, so you would like to go with L3 in most applications. And you would think about other transmitters only if some of the needs are not fulfilled by L3. So L3 is our sensor with the best accuracy. It has 0.1% accuracy of calibrated range. If you look at some of our competitors, they spec their accuracy based on the URL, the overall maximum range of the sensor. L3 provides you an accuracy of 0.1% of calibrated range. It also gives you the best-in-class temperature performance across the wide temperature range from 0F to 230F. It has 0.016% per 10F temperature compensation built into the sensor. So if you have applications where your process temperature could swing, L3 would be your best transmitter. The switch output also comes as a standard in L3. So if you have those pump protection applications where you need, where you want to use the digital output of the transmitter to control the motor, then you can use the switch output based on the alarm settings that's available in the transmitter. You could, the L3 also comes with the heart and a display as the standard, and you could configure the sensor for different settings, the range, alarms, display unit, and all these features using both the local display and the heart handheld or your heart module from your PLC. The graphical user interface that we have in the L3 is the most advanced that we have, and if you have played around with L3 in your projects before, you would have found out that L3 has the most intuitive menu structure. It is very few layers deep, and you can get to the parameters that you are looking for within few clicks of the button. L3 is also the modular, so like most of our new products that we launched, it's modular in design, which basically means low cost of ownership for the customers. The transmitter head portion of L3 is universal, so you could plug it in with any range of sensors and it will work just fine. Similarly, if you have issues with the sensor, you could just order the sensor on its own and use it, and it's in a plug and play design, so you won't have any issues repairing them in the field. The other advantage of the modularity is you can convert the direct mount unit into a remote mount unit in the field. You don't have to order a different transmitter sets. All you need to do is order the remote kit and you can convert it in the field. And with all these designs, L3 still provides you the protection from the water ingression. We have a dual O-ring design in the cap that protects the sensor from water ingression. So all in all, L3 is your most feature-rich, most advanced in terms of performance, and that should be your go-to transmitter for all pressure applications. The next transmitter is the MPF, which has the best accuracy similar to L3, but in terms of temperature compensation, it has slightly inferior performance. And if there's going to be a temperature change in the pressure process, you would want to stick with L3. MPF also has a display, a simple display as a standard, and it also offers the advanced display that you see in the picture there, and you can configure the sensor parameters using those display buttons. So the bright red LED display that we have in MPF is very easy to see from distance. But again, compared to L3 has a graphical display and much easier to read menu structure and everything. In MPF, hard and this advanced display is optional, so it's not part of the standard product. However, MPF also carries the similar feature like modularity and water ingress protection like L3. The reason you would try to go to MPF compared to L3 would be because of the temperature range requirement. L3, like I said earlier, is appropriate for process temperature up to 230 F, but if you have process temperature that could go higher, like up to 350 F, then your MPF would be your next best option. Also, L3 supports the pressure range up to 500 PSI, and there are pressure applications that you need to go higher than that, then you go to MPF. It supports up to 1000 PSI range. And also there are different fitting options that MPF provides that's not in L3. So these temperature requirements, some high pressure requirements, and different fitting options would be the reason to switch to MPF instead of L3. The other pressure transmitter that we have is the TFP, and as a highlight of this product, you would consider this for even higher temperature applications. TFP has heart included as a standard, and it does have a display which is optional, but compared to L3 and MPF display, this is very basic. There's no interface in the display, and you can see the process values in milliamp percentage or the configured unit. The advantage of TFP is it's appropriate for the high temperature version. And on the right-hand side top, you would see a standard product, and on the bottom you would see the sensor with the longer stem and the remote capillary. Those are the high temperature version sensors, and it can go up as high as 400 F. And because it uses the remote capillary system, it's appropriate for the high vibration applications. Just as a note, L3 and MPF do have a remote version, so they are also appropriate for high vibration applications by putting the transmitter head remotely. But if you have even more susceptibility to vibration on the worst or very difficult applications, where then you prefer to go to TFP. So two main reasons to switch to TFP instead of L3 and MPF would be those temperature requirement of 400 F and the high vibration. Next we have SR. I would like to highlight the high pressure applications for SR. So the applications like homogenizer monitoring. SR has a robust design. It doesn't have any moving parts, so that means a longer product life. And it does have a optional display similar to TFP. And compared to TFP, SR can go as high as 20,000 PSI based on the need of the homogenizer application. So the only reason you would go to SR compared to L3, MPF, and TFP is the high pressure range. And finally, we have HH, which is the most simple transmitter that we have. It's compact and very durable, and it still provides you all the water ingress protection design that we consider as a part of our all products. And it's appropriate for the OEM skids that you see in many breweries when you walk across the plant. As you can see, it's less than 3 inches both height-wise and width-wise. And this is your go-to sensors for OEM skids. So to summarize, again, L3 is the most feature-rich and advanced in performance, and that's your go-to transmitter for all applications. Accurate in both accuracy and temperature. It has switch output, modular design, which means less stock options and low cost of ownership. Can be field configured for remote. Has a graphical display and very intuitive menu structure, making it easy to commission, and comes with hard as a standard. MPF, when you have application process temperature need to go beyond 230, so up to 350 F, go to MPF. And if there are fittings that's not supported by L3, then you would choose MPF. If there are even higher temperature requirements, then you would go with TFP, so up to 400 F. And if there are high vibration applications, then you might consider TFP. If there are very high pressure applications like homogenizers, then you would go to SR. And for compact design, then you would, for the OEM skids, then you would go to HH. As an addition, there are applications where there's a need for intrinsic safety, and when you need those, we would like you to go to our Life Science series of the equivalent transmitters. So for MPF, we have MPP. For TFP, we have TPP. For SR, we have SV. And for HH, we have HA, which is also available in autoclavable version. And if there's a requirement for Canadian CRN certificate, we have L3 and MPF that have those certificates. So apart from food, beverage, and dairy, based on some needs, we do have other options. Performance-wise, which are similar to the food, beverage, and dairy applications, or in fact slightly a little bit better than those. That's all I had for the pressure transmitters. Thank you for attending today's webinar. And if you have any questions on these, please write it down in the Q&A section or the chat section, and we'll address them. Thank you. So the first question that I got was, what's the temperature range for the SR? For the SR, the maximum temperature is 300 degree F process. Next question from Seth was, what is HART? So HART is basically a communication protocol that rides over the 4 to 20 signal, and it can be used to talk to the transmitter remotely using a PLC module that supports the HART, or there's also handheld available that you can clip onto the terminals of this transmitter, and using that you can read different parameters from the transmitter and also modify them. So you could read the process variable, you can also read the transmitter ranges that's set on the transmitter, and if you would like to change them, then you can use the handheld device to change those parameters as well. So using the handheld for local, and you could use the other softwares available in computer to access it remotely. Looks like we had a question from Larry. I think he wasn't able to attend the whole webinar, and was asking if it would be available in the website. It will be put in our distributor portal in our website, and should be there within a couple of weeks. I have another question. Which of these sensors are more favorable for level sensing in a vented tank? And it's L3. Like I said in the presentation, L3 is our sensor that was designed for both pressure and level applications, and it provides you the best performance in terms of accuracy and temperature performance as well. So L3 would be your transmitter for that application.
All right, everybody. I appreciate you bearing with us as we got on this call late. I hope you found all of this information as beneficial as I did sitting in the room here with Ashish. We will be sending out a thank you email for you attending this shortly this afternoon, and like Ashish said, we should have this. It takes a little while for the recordings to get processed, but we should have it up on the distributor portal shortly. So it doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up now. Thank you again.